We are here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day. We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Wednesday, November 6th here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and you're watching News Generation. Today, we're joined by Park Ki-yoon.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And Ki Kim.
Happy Hump Day.
Happy Wednesday. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. It's Wednesday, which means we're going to start with our keyword news of the day. Today's keyword is Jang. South Korea's Jang-making tradition is on its way toward being inscribed as a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. Jang is a food made from fermented soybeans such as doenjang, gochujang, ganjang, and cheonggukjang. According to the Korea Heritage Service on Tuesday, the knowledge, beliefs, and practices related to Jang-making have been recommended for inscription by the consultative body of UNESCO's Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage, along with 57 other nominations. So what do you think makes Jang so special and unique?
Well, it's just not the paste. It takes time and effort. Every region has a different style and all taste different. When I was young, I used to make all the jangs at home, and it was a big family gathering. So for gochujang, you had to constantly steer the gochujang to make it, look better. And it was a big family gathering. My grandma used to make me steer it all the time. And I also hated making doenjang because it starts with meju. You've probably seen it from the screen. Meju is a chunk of fermented soybean, and it smells terrible. So for those of you who are not used to this smell, wouldn't like it. But those are the main ingredients for doenjang and ganjang, or soy sauce. You would hang them at the balcony, or you would just slide them on the living room so that where the air ventilates well. And then the whole house smells like a fish market, pretty much. So, but it was all like that back then. And now I buy doenjang from the grocery store, but it never tastes the same. The richness, the aroma, the thickness, everything is so different. And I guess the whole family or neighbor or even the whole village took their time to work together to make their special jang. So it's a culture, it's very deep, and it requires a lot of cooperation.
Right, no wonder it has been nominated as a UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage. So Hyun, I think a lot of our viewers would want to know or try out dishes that are made from this jang. So do you have any recommendations?
I do have quite a few, but just to mention what Ki just said, long time ago, the way they made these jangs, it was like a timely process, and it required a lot of effort, a lot of stirring as well.
Right, I heard it almost takes a year.
It does. That's why it tastes so different. But like the things we buy in the supermarket, it does taste very nice, but it's very different to how it was made before. And there are like a lot of restaurants that were built long time ago, and it tastes different. Like when the owners are halmonis, like the from the older generation, the cheonggukjang, like Ki said, it doesn't smell the best. I didn't really like it at first, but once I tasted it, I was like, wow, this is so different. Yeah,
so
this is what makes Korean food like so different and unique. And besides the classic gochujang jjigae, doenjang jjigae, and of course jangjorim, it's all made from the base of gochujang, doenjang, and of course ganjang. My favorite dish has to be jimtak, which is braised chicken, which made from soybean sauce. And it's one of my favorite because not only is the chicken so tender, it's got that beautiful kick that we're going to talk about very soon.
Right.
That kick. And also it's got all sorts of different vegetables. That's my favorite dish. And there's also a tteokbokki, which is made from gochujang base. And it's a popular street food that I'm sure many foreigners know. I have heard of tteokbokki and have tried it. There's so many more, but what's your favorite?
I think I go for tteokbokki as well. And I think I'll go for 간장게장, which is the marinated crabs using soybean sauce. So great recommendations from Ki-hoon. Now, meanwhile, the final decision will be made at the committee's 19th session, which will take place in Paraguay from December 2nd to 7th. And that was our keyword news for this Wednesday. So we're now going to move on to our main discussion for the day. It's Wednesday, time for our weekly My K-Star Pig segment, where we highlight some of the hottest and most trending figures in Korea. And today we're going to change things up a bit. Instead of focusing on one star, we're going to shine the spotlight on multiple stars, and they are Korea's star chefs. Now, these chefs have gained immense popularity recently, especially after the success of the Netflix hit show Culinary Class Wars, right, Yoon?
Correct. Culinary Class Wars, or also known as 흑백요리사 in Korean. I think almost everyone was watching it
Right.
ever since the first episode was released on September 17th. So 100 chefs in total, advancing black spoon contestants facing off against iconic white spoon chefs in a culinary battle using the same base ingredients. Each episode wowed the viewers with each chef's culinary skills, creativity under intense pressure. They were judged by highly esteemed restaurateur Baek Jong-won and head chef and owner of South Korea's only 3 Michelin-starred restaurant. The 12-episode series secured the top spot in Netflix's non-English global rankings for 3 consecutive weeks. And this obviously was a first ever for a reality show on Netflix. And its ongoing popularity sealed the production of season 2, which they'll start filming very soon. And I think everyone will be looking forward to season 2. But I just have to say, if season 1 does so well, season 2 usually doesn't really live up to its
More
expectations.
pressure on season 2.
Because there's more pressure and like expectations high. But I definitely think season 2 will really do well as well.
Yeah, I can't wait which chefs we're going to see who will participate in Culinary Class Wars Season 2. Now, Culinary Class Wars isn't Korea's first cooking competition show throughout the past years. We've been seeing a lot of cooking shows here in Korea, though Culinary Class Wars has become the massive global hit cooking competition show. So could you introduce us to some of Korea's cooking shows, Ki?
Sure. Starting with the MasterChef Korea, there's been 냉장고를 부탁해 or Take Care of My Refrigerator. 한식 대첩, Korean Food War were a great hit, especially 냉부해 or 냉장고를 부탁해, Take Care of My Refrigerator was in swing. The stars bring their refrigerator from their home, and the chefs started taking the ingredients out of it and making a delicious cuisine within 15 minutes. And that's when the chefs started to appear on TV a lot. They were everywhere, even appearing on Marite or My Little Television. This is where Baek Jong made a huge, big debut, leaving the viewers with the star chef title.
Right, and now we have the global hit Culinary Class Wars. So exactly how strong has this show resonated with our generation? Let's first take a listen.
예전 같은 경우는 정말 소수의 한두 명 유명한 사람들만 겨우 이름을 알 정도였는데 요즘은 사람들이 식당을 다 찾아가잖아요. 가서 웨이팅도 하고 정말 가기 힘든 식당들도 많은데 그들이 유명세도 얻고 또 정말 길 가는 사람들이 다 알 정도의 그런 셰프들이 꽤 많아진 것 같아서 확실히 그런 프로그램들이 큰 영향을 줬다고 생각합니다.
요리하는 사람의 철학이라던가 요리의 컨텐츠, 그러니까 막 가스 만들고 뭔가 이런 막 스토리가 있으면 막 너무 재밌잖아. 과정이 너무 재밌다, 흥미롭다던가. 약간 그래서 특히나 프로그램은 그 시청자가 그걸 맛을 볼 수 없으니까 그래서 셰프 개개인의 특성이나 셰프가 팀플레인을 하는 방식이나 음식에 대하는 태도 그거에 더 집중해서 보게 된단 말이지.
언더나이어블한 것 같고 그 확실히 인지도가 올라갔다는 걸. 그리고 어떻게 보면은 글쎄 백종원이 여태까지는 he might have been the closest thing. 그리고 이게 당연히 one-to-one comparison은 안 되지만 약간 고든 램지 같은 사람이 없었잖아 한국에. 그런 사람이 이제 나올 수가 있는 건가?
셰프들 이름 딴 뭐 음식이라던가 뭐 셰프가 운영하는 그런 레스토랑들이 많이 이렇게 좀 뭐 언론이나 아니면 소셜 미디어나 뭐 이런 데서 많이 부각이 되고 그런 부분들을 봤을 때 과거에 비해서는 좀 그런 프로그램들이 굉장히 좀 영향을 많이 미쳤다고 볼 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Right, so this Culinary Class War sensation has definitely put the spotlight on a lot of chefs. And now we're going to take the time to look at the standout stars among these chefs who have gained great popularity throughout the show, those who've recently risen to more fame. So let's first start with our first chef, who is An Sung-jae. Ki-yoon, you briefly mentioned about him, but tell us more.
Yes, An Sung-jae was the co-judge alongside Baek Jong-won. So his family immigrated to San Diego, California at the age of 13. After entering college, he decided to join the US Army and later volunteered to go to Iraq during the war. Ending his service, he pursued his dream of becoming a mechanic for Porsche, which is quite interesting. But only 2 weeks before he's set to begin his training, his encounter with a group of chefs changed his life forever. Even though he says it was spontaneous to choose this profession, he admits cooking was always in his blood. He was actually recently interviewed by CNN where he told his life story of becoming one of the most famous chefs in Korea, like you see on the screen. And like I mentioned before, he is the chef and owner of Mosu Seoul that was awarded 3 Michelin stars back in 2022, the only restaurant to do so here in South Korea. Now, like we're going to talk about 2 other huge star chefs in Korea, but my star chef that I met recently is actually Chef Ki.
Chef Ki, who is he?
To be he's right there, right next to you. Yeah, I had the chance to be invited to his place, and to be honest, I wasn't expecting too much from him, but you know what? His cooking was so nice.
You think he's qualified
amazed.
to enter Culinary Class Wars too?
2, by far.
Oh,
To all the pigeons out there of Netflix for season 2, I was mesmerized, and like I like cooking myself, but he was cooking on a different level, and I was like, I need to learn from him.
You should.
Yeah, thank you, Chef Ki. I just wanted to mention that on the show.
Well, next time I will surely join that meeting so that I can get a taste of Chef Ki's amazing dishes. Now, meanwhile, we talked about An Sung-jae, who was the judge of Culinary Class Wars 1, and we had a co-chef, a co-judge for Culinary Class Wars, and that is, I think this is the chef or the person who really popularized the job or career of chefs here in Korea. He is Baek Jo-won. So tell us more.
Yes, he's a classic famous figure in Korea, the most popular, I would say, the cooking celebrity.
Right.
To describe his profession more accurately, he's actually the CEO of the restaurant business, but public has an image of chef as he teaches how to cook easily and quickly through various media. His recipe has quickly earned public interest, and because he uses a lot of sugar in his recipe, is called a sugar boy. The first time he entered the restaurant business was he was working for a pub, the chicken pub, and when he was a freshman in college, but he recommended the delivery service to the old lady who was owning the restaurant because there was an apartment complex nearby. And he delivered chicken himself, and soon he took over running the restaurant just because the old lady, the owner at that time, was getting sick. Yet he surprisingly extended his business to 3 branches in just 3 years.
Wow.
But however, after he was forced into the military service because his family didn't like him running the restaurant. And after he finishing the duty, he started the restaurant business again. And every item he releases got a huge hit from the crowds and public, making him the tycoon of the food industry in Korea. And he appeared in countless different TV shows.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, his company, the food company, just went public. And now, today, it's the hottest stock in Kospi.
Wow, that's some big news for Baek Jo-won as well. So until now, we've taken a look at An Sung-jae and Baek Jo-won, who were the judges of Culinary Class Wars, and we also prepared 1 star chef who participated in the show as a contestant, and he's personally my favorite star chef as of now. He is Edward Lee. So tell us more about Edward Lee, Kyun.
Sure. 저는 비빔 인간입니다. 저는 에드워드 리 이균이에요. 한국 이름. Okay, sorry. I wanted to just imitate him because it became viral.
Right.
His meme, and also Baek Jo-won when he said "Basio." Anyway, okay, I'll continue. He's also a Korean American like An Sung-jae, and he was already a renowned chef back in the States, being awarded James Beard Foundation Award for his book Buttermilk Graffiti, as well as James Beard Humanitarian Award for his organization, the Lee Initiative. So this award can be seen as the same as the Academy Awards in cooking industry. He also made numerous TV appearances like The Mind of a Chef, Iron Chef America, and Top Chef, alongside Gordon Ramsay that everybody knows. And back in 2013, he was selected as the guest chef at the state dinner in the White House during South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol's visit to the United States. He stole the audience's heart by cooking dishes only using traditional Korean recipes like you see on the screen, starting with his first meal, which was 묵은지 salad, and ending it with tteokbokki in the final round. And his reason for appearing on the Netflix series was to find his roots of Korean heritage, which I found very interesting and very touching as well, because you know, back in the States, everyone knows about Edward Lee, but in Korea, not many people were actually familiar with him. But ever since he made his appearance on the show, like more people actually found about him and how famous he was back in the States. So it was great to see him. And I know that you also interviewed him, right?
Yes, I did. I did an exclusive interview with Edward Lee a few weeks ago. It was amazing. So I really wanted to share this footage and interview with you guys. Now, as Kyun mentioned, Edward Lee's journey in Culinary Class Wars, where he sought to reconnect with his Korean heritage, truly captured the hearts of many viewers around the world. So let's take a listen to what Chef Lee had to say about this during our exclusive interview with him.
There's a lot of people who have been saying, especially Korean Americans, who have been saying that I've never seen my story told on TV in such a big stage, and that it's it's something special for them. And anyone, I think, it's just a lot of people. Anyone who feels vulnerable or somehow struggling. And to see that I don't know. I think a lot of times for cooking shows, you only show confidence, and I think it was true. I just was very vulnerable at some point and was able to speak from my heart, and I think that touched a lot of people. And as well, their comments are very touching to me as well. So I really appreciate that.
Right, before we move on, we would like to make a small correction. So Edward Lee served as a guest chef for the White House chef dinner back in 2023, which was last year. Now back to our discussion, these three chefs have gained a massive following, especially among our generation. They've built a big, deep fan base. So Ki, what do you think is behind their popularity?
Well, if you actually take a look at their popularity, it's a genuine love for the food. All they think about when you watch the show is how to please the customers' taste buds. And it's not just about winning the competition or having show-offs for the specific episode of specific TV shows. They're dead serious about food, and they're concerned about how the food looks, the taste, the impact, and they consider pretty much everything. And they even care about running the restaurant business as well. So they sometimes talk about the cost of the ingredients, tips for operating the restaurants and its process. And for Baek Jeon, he even had a show about reviving the market district with his talent, encouraging local restaurant owners to do well, clean, of course, patju, and lure more customers so the district can enjoy its good old heydays again.
Right, so it's not just about the food, right?
Right.
Right. So we're now going to take the time to hear from our generation about who their favorite chef is and why.
사실 딱히 좋아하는 셰프는 없고요. 근데 뭐 그런 프로그램 나왔던 셰프들은 저도 이름 듣고 하니까 꼭 한번 가보고 싶다라는 생각도 들고, 저 같은 사람도 이 정도 마음인 거 보면 프로그램 보신 분들은 더 하지 않을까 그런 생각이 드네요.
에드워드 리 씨. 근데 솔직히 이분은 모두의 바이어스여가지고 흑백요리사 보고 솔직히 이 사람 안 좋아하는 사람 없음. 되게 극한 상황에서 자기보다 뭐 팀원들을 어떻게 챙기는지 아니면 막 음식에 대한 자부심이 이 사람이 있는지 없는지 약간 이런 인성적인 부분을 보게 되는데, 그런 면에서 진짜 사기캐 같은 완전체 같은 사람이었다. 그리고 마지막에 막 자기 마지막 요리 소개하면서 막 꾹꾹 눌러 쓴 한국어 막 읽으면서 막 한국인의 자부심 막 이런 거 할 때 약간 울컥 막 같이 울컥.
Right, so as we can see from the interview, the star chefs also inspired and greatly touched the hearts, especially those among our generation. Now, ending off, I would like to ask our panelists, what kind of impact do you think these star chefs will have? And do you think this star chef fever will continue? Anything you'd like to see in the future?
You know what, I think they've already made a huge impact, not just in Korea, but all over the world. I think thanks to this show on Netflix, it's really put Korean fine dining to another level. Because I think a lot of Korean food, of course fine dining as well, were underappreciated, and it was kind of overshadowed from Japanese cuisine and of course Chinese cuisine. I love Japanese food and Chinese food, but when we talked about Korean food, not many people actually knew about Korean food. And like even when we talked about kimbap, they'll be like, "Oh, you mean sushi?" And I remember back in Australia, I would say, "No, kimbap and sushi is different," and they'll be like, "No, it's just Japanese food. What's kimbap?" And then people didn't really care about kimbap, but then I was like trying my best to promote Korean food at school, saying, this is Korean sushi, and have you tried bulgogi? And once they tried it, they were like, oh, this is so nice, I want more of this. So I remember like this was like 20, 30 years ago, but now seeing Korean food, you know, being appreciated so much all over the world, and even like fine dining, like it's not just about how expensive it is, it's all about the experience they have, and just want to see more Korean restaurants do better in Korea and overseas moving forward.
Right, these chefs in the show, it has definitely put Korean cuisine to another level on the global stage. What do you expect, Ki?
Well, for now, all the restaurants for the chefs to appear on the Culinary War, they're pretty much booked for the next 3 or 4 months, even till next March. But when you look at the TV shows, the trend revolves. About a decade ago, with the 냉장고를 부탁해 sort of show, chefs were the driving sources for all the TV shows. And then a couple years later, the heat got cold.
Right.
But then again, the food competition show brought the chefs back into the spotlight again. So this will continue the revolving trend, and I hope the chefs that appear on a TV show will show the same quality and same look and same amount of passion in their restaurants as well, so they can still please the customer taste buds for the time coming.
And I personally hope we'll get to see Culinary Class Wars Season 2 real quick. And that's all from us today, but NewsGen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks today to Park Ki-hoon.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. And Ki Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching, and see you tomorrow. We are News Generation.